What's up, guys? Welcome back to another weekly episode on Holly's Garage. Wherever you're at, whatever time zone, day or night, I hope you're having a good one. So this week we're actually going to be trying to diagnose and solve a little problem with the Subi. I was driving up to Big Bear. I went on a trip to Big Bear and the car stalled in traffic, and it's just been having a rough idle and stalling every once in a while at idle. So this could be a bunch of different problems. I'm not throwing any codes. I checked on my Cobb access port. So since I'm not throwing any codes, I'm just gonna get right down to the basics and try to do a bunch of little maintenance that will hopefully solve this idling problem. So the first thing I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be putting in a new fuel filter. These get old, and as they get gunked up, it can cause problems with idle. I'm also gonna be cleaning my mass airflow sensor. I was gonna clean my idle air control valve, but no one had the gasket that you need for the idle air control valve in stock. None of the local auto parts stores had it, so I ordered it from O'Reilly's and it should be here by Wednesday, so I'll make another video where I do that. I'm also going to be using this carb and choke cleaner to check for any vacuum leaks on the car. I'm going to be running this sea foam through the gas tank, so that way we treat the injectors and stuff like that and hopefully clean out some more stuff. And then I'm also gonna be doing an oil change. I always like to use Mobil 1, and I always get a Mobil 1 filter so it works correctly. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing a bunch of little maintenance on the car today. We're gonna start with getting into the fuel filter. Hopefully we can solve this idle issue. Let's get into it. Alright everyone, so the first thing we're going to be doing is the fuel filter. This is what the fuel filter looks like, and it's located right there. So you can see it's the same part. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to actually, there's a couple hoses that are clipped on with this plastic clip that you can just slide back. So I'm going to pry that off with a pry tool and get these two hoses disconnected. Then I'm going to disconnect each one of the fuel lines, the fuel line coming from the fuel tank and the fuel line going out towards the fuel rail. And you will always want to make sure that you have some paper towels handy when you're doing that part, so because there is going to be some excess fuel that leaks. And then I'm going to loosen this bracket right here, and then that will allow me to take the filter out and slide the new one in. So I'll get back to you guys. Alright, as you guys can see, I took this clip off of right there, so now these hoses are off of the fuel filter. Now I just gotta loosen each one of these clamps and pull off the fuel lines. Make sure you have a paper towel handy. I can't stress that enough. Make sure you have a paper towel handy or a rag or something to let the excess gas go in, because there's gonna be a little bit of excess fuel in these lines. And then back here, you guys can see in the back there, it's actually just like a old school lunchbox. You just pop open that clip and it will loosen pressure on this whole bracket right here, and then you'll just be able to slide the filter out. as you guys just saw, I took the old fuel filter out. It's right here on the floor. Always be careful because if you turn it side to side, you know, you'll see there is still fuel in here. So it's still, you know, could get fuel on the floor and stuff like that, and you got to be careful. Extremely flammable. Always be careful when you're doing this. Another tip I just kind of learned for myself, I wanted to hold these rags on, like I wanted to hold this rag on while I took the other fuel line off. So what I did is I actually zip tied a couple shop rags on there, just so if it is leaking any fuel, at least it's leaking directly into there. I wanted to show you guys this bracket that I was talking about too, like the old school lunchbox. It just, you literally just pop this part open right here from the back, like an old lunchbox, and then boom, it comes right off. So super cool, super easy design, super quick to change. I'm gonna put in the new one now, and then I'll get back to you guys. Alright, so I got it in place. I haven't locked it down. I just wanted to show you guys how simple this is. So you guys see this back latch that my finger's on? Just like an old lunchbox. Just pry that back and boom. Nice and tight. Isn't that cool? I just thought that was such a simple design. Wanted to share that with you guys. Alright, check it out. New fuel filters in. Both of the clamps are back on the fuel lines. Reattached these hoses that use this clip on there, and yeah, it's looking solid. Super easy install, took me only about 20 minutes. Now we're gonna start checking for vacuum leaks. Guys, so for the next step of this little tune-up, we're gonna be using this carb and choke cleaner to check for vacuum leaks on the motor. Basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna spray this around the intake manifold near any of your vacuum ports, and you'll notice if you have a leak because the motor will kind of stutter or want to die. So you're gonna have to turn the car on to do this step. You also want to be very careful because this stuff is highly flammable. So I do have my fire extinguisher on hand ready to go just in case. Just letting you guys know this isn't the correct way to do this. You do want to use actual propane. It's much safer, even though it doesn't seem like it, but this is highly flammable. But this is the most common method that most people use. Just make sure you're extra cautious. All right, so let's turn on the motor and start checking for those vacuum leaks. Alright, so as you just saw, I checked for vacuum leaks all over the whole intake manifold, sprayed it at all the little vacuum ports along here, down up in here. There's a bunch of vacuum lines, so I checked all those, checked this one, and nothing came back leaking, so I think we're good on vacuum leaks. And I noticed that the car was idling a lot better after putting that new fuel filter in, so hopefully it was just the fuel filter and that's all we needed, and we'll keep going, see what happens. Alright, so next I'm going to be putting the seafoam in the gas tank, and I'm going to head over to Chevron and fill up the tank. I'm also going to drive around for about 20 minutes and just see how it's doing, see if it dies at all at idle like it was, and just see how that fuel filter helped out, because I really think it made the difference. It sounded like it was idling a lot better, so feeling good about today. Today's going good. It's still early. I still got a lot of time on the clock. And then when I get back, I'll probably let the car cool off, rest, eat some lunch. You know, I gotta get some food in the belly, keep myself going. And then I'll get into the oil change. And I'll also, oh, you know what? I'll clean off the mass airflow sensor real quick. Let me do that too. So let me do that, and then we'll head to the gas station.